everyone, it's Tammy, and we're going to talk about parent participation at team meetings. So, a lot of times, parents think that, the school district does everything. You just go there, you listen, and then you just get up and walk away. Well, that's not the way it goes. Okay, you have a right to meaningfully participate in a team meeting. That means what you really should do is prepare for your meeting the night before, or 2 days before. So today we're going to talk about different strategies that you can use prior to attending the team meeting. And hopefully this will help you to make sure you get your point across and that the things that you want for your kid are actually on the record. So let's get started. Let's do this right now. Okay, let's get to it. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to just start, you make your agenda list, what you want on your agenda. So things like, you want to request a one-to-one aid, you want to increase speech and language, you want to make a request for a transitional assessment. That's the new one lately. Okay, these are just some of the things that you can ask for. You can ask for a lot more. But what you need to do is, if you're going to ask for anything, you have to demonstrate the need. Okay, because even though they don't have to do anything, because that's the way they are, they don't think they have to prove anything when they make their unilateral decisions. They have to, okay? So you beat them to the punch. So for instance, if you need a one-to-one aid for your kid, or you believe your kid needs a one-to-one aid, you need to demonstrate some kind of proof. So the proof that you use is the kids' report cards, the progress reports, correspondence between you and the teacher. That's critical. Okay. So if the teacher is saying stuff like, well, your kid's not sitting in class, he's not paying attention, he doesn't follow through with the directions, we have to redirect him all the time, he doesn't understand, he can read it, but he can't execute it. See, those are reasons for an aid. Okay. Or your kid could be exhibiting certain types of behaviors that may be a danger to himself or others, or it may be that having an aid would help him to focus better. The aid could help him focus by constantly redirecting him. So it's not all on the teacher. Okay. A one-to-one aid is a one-to-one aid. I know some school districts think a one-to-one aid is for everybody in the classroom. That's not a one-to-one aid. No, that's an aid in the classroom. They float around. They help everybody. Okay. That's not a one-to-one aid. A one-to-one aid is sitting right next to your kid, right here, to help your kid, not helping other people's kids, but helping your kid. Now, the reason why this is important is because if you're making that request, it has, if in order for your kid to get it, it must go in the IEP. If it's not in the IEP, you're not getting it. If it's not in the IEP, then you can't go after them for denial of FAPE or compensatory services or any of that nonsense. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that when you bring stuff, you also bring the material that you're going to need, such as the IEP, the IEPs, the IEP progress reports. You need report cards, because sometimes in the report cards, it'll say there's comments between what the teacher is saying. Well, he's making effective progress, but he's not doing this. So you need the progress reports. You need the IEP progress reports. You need the report cards with correspondence. And the best one is start creating your paper trail. Okay, right away, introduce yourself to the teacher. Right away, tell the teacher what you're hoping to accomplish this year for your kids. So if you have concerns, put them in writing and send them to the teacher. Okay, so now you're bringing stuff to the IEP team meeting that here's what you had already discussed, and this is what's actually happened. The things that were a concern are actually showing up, which is why your kid might need an aid. Okay, so you can bring things like the report cards, like I said, disciplinary records too, for kids with behavior disorders, or kids that are not focused on their work and they're constantly doing something. If you have an intervention plan, okay, what you want when you're going to a team meeting 2 days before, you also ask for all of the data that was collected by the BCBA so that you can discuss that data and meaningfully participate. That's what meaningful means. When the school district refuses to give you guys this documentation prior to the team meeting as you requested, they're denying you the right to meaningfully participate. Okay. Meaningful participation is under the law. Parent participation is under the law. Okay. So if you ask for this stuff, if they don't give it to you, it's a denial of that right, because now you have to rely on everything they said versus everything that's written down on a piece of paper. Now, it could be that everything that's written down on a piece of paper is junk. Okay. But there's some truth in there too. Okay. Sometimes without them knowing it, they're giving you ammunition. That's why you do the emails. That's why you make sure you put everything in writing, whether it's email, if you're writing letters and you're putting them in the mail to them because they don't want to do it that way, no problem. Send it certified returned receipt. That's what you do. Keep those receipts, because if you have to do it and you file for a hearing, I would go after reimbursement for that nonsense, because they all have emails that are they have email accounts that's funded by taxpayer dollars. So for them to tell you they don't want your emails, too bad, send it anyway. Okay. But yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that when you go to these meetings, that you have your ducks all lined up. Okay. Now, the other part is when you ask them for documents and you don't get them, okay, then what you have now, you have a problem. Okay. Because if you ask for something, not the documents, but if you ask them for a service, okay, the reason why you're asking for a service is to ensure the provision of FAPE. That's your phrase. You asking for this service to ensure that your kid receives FAPE. Without this particular thing, your kid will not receive FAPE. Okay? FAPE is what makes the world go round for IDEA. Okay? So, now, if you're asking for something that is the provision of FAPE, or you're asking for an evaluation, or you're asking for another placement, all of that stuff falls under the prior written notice. Okay. So during the team meeting, every time you ask for something and they say no, or they say okay, you say, good, when are you putting that in writing? Is that going to be in the IEP? If it's yes, are you putting that in the IEP? If the answer is no, then you tell them, no, I want it in the IEP. If they say no, they're not going to put it in the IEP, that means they don't have any intentions of giving it to any degree, okay, that can be measured, and that you can find out if your kid's making any progress with this particular service. So therefore, again, they're denying FAPE. So any way that they don't do this, that doesn't include putting your request in the IEP and agreeing to deliver that particular service for that amount of time or whatever you're asking for, they have to put it in writing, okay? Under the law, under 34 CFR 300.503, it says specifically, if the district says no to your request, if it's a provision of FAPE, if it's a placement, if it's an evaluation, there's four things, and I can't remember the fourth one. But anyway, if they say no, they have to give you all of that in writing. So when you go to the meeting, you bring a notepad and you keep a record of everything, because like I said, you prepared. So you have a list. Okay, you bring that list with you. And then when you ask for that particular thing, you put a check mark next to it that you discussed that. And then you write down the person's initials, who said no or what they said. When you ask for it to be in the IEP, you put IEP, they said no. You just write no. Okay. You make your notes really brief so that only you can understand what's going on. That's okay. Because when you get back home, I'm going to tell you what to do next. Okay. Now, when you get home after the meeting, the district has to provide you with prior written notice of their refusal to do what you ask. Now, two things are going to happen. If they agreed, it's going to be in the IEP. If it's not in the IEP, it's a refusal. It's just a refusal. If they refuse it, then they have to, there's 7 things that they have to include in the content of the prior written notice. They don't just get to say whatever the hell they want. They have to answer certain questions. They have to include a description of the action proposed or refused by the agency. They have to give you an explanation why the agency proposes or refuses to take the action. Remember, the refuse part is the part we're talking about. Okay. Now the proposal part is if they're proposing something. Okay. That's what that means. A description, or the agency, when it says the agency were proposed. Okay. That they're talking about the school district. A description of each evaluation procedure, assessment, record, or report the agency used as a basis for the proposal or the refusal to grant you your request. These are the kinds of questions they have to answer. They can't just send you some fly-by-night piece of paper and say, well, we just thought this and, we didn't feel. First of all, anytime a school district uses the word feel, that's a no-brainer. Absolutely not. No feelings are involved under the idea. Feelings are not included. Okay? Not included. So we don't care nothing about their feelings. I got feelings too. You do too. So does your kid. Nobody cares about us. So we don't care about that. They have to put in a statement that the parents of a child with a disability have protection. So when they tell you no, they have to include your rights to dispute their decision of their refusal to do the action that you asked them, okay? Then they have to provide you with sources for you to reach out to help with filing a dispute or what your next steps are. They have to put this in the complaint, in their prior written notice. This is all the stuff that goes in a prior written notice that nobody ever puts in. And it's amazing to me. That's why you can get them for denial, for violating prior written notice. And then they also have to include, based on your request, what a description of other options that the IEP team, including you, considered with respect to your request, and the reasons why those options were rejected, and a description of other factors that may be relevant to the agency's proposal or refusal. You see, it's not just yes or no. So when you go prepared, what I would do is I would go online and print out this document and put it right there next to you as part of your, as part of preparing. You need this. And the cool thing is they just changed the website for IDEA. It's really cool. You can actually print out one page of any law. You type it in. I'm going to do a training on that too. Okay. So it's real easy now, and you could just print out one page or save one page to wherever you want to save it and then refer to it during the hearing. Okay. Or during the meeting. I'm sorry. All right. You refer to it, not to bring it to their attention, but you tell them every time you ask them for something and they say no, your response is, you're going to put that in writing, correct? I'll get that at the end of when do I get it? What is the ETA on that particular document? And they'll tell you. And then again, because you brought paper and pencil, you wrote down the prior written notice. You'll say to be received on such and such a date, to include everything they said no to. When you just write what on your paper, you write, check, they refused the one-to-one, check, they refused the FBA, check, they refused if you asked for speech and language and you wanted to increase speech and language, they refused to increase speech and language. All of that has to be, they have to answer all of those questions because they're all separate in one prior written notice. Okay, one prior written notice. That's how they have to do it. Okay, then once you get the prior written notice, like it says in the law, they have to provide you with a statement as to what is available for you. Okay, so once they provide that, then you can take it to the next level. Okay, and that's a whole nother thing. But you always have to take it to the next level. I shouldn't say that. That's not true. You always have an option to take it to the next level. Whether you use that option or not is going to be up to you and your situation. Okay, but understand this. There is another option. They don't want you to use it. They don't want you to know about it. And that's why they don't like to answer all of the questions for 503, because they know if they answer them, there's going to be a problem. What how to do, once again, is to create that paper trail. This is your best defense. It's the best offense, really, to ensure that you're aware of what's going to happen. You are now controlling what's going on at your team meeting. You are making them do their jobs, and they're not going to like it, and nobody cares. Okay, nobody cares if they like it. This is what they have to do. So what I want you guys to do is take this. This is your first step. This is the beginning of the year. You want to start off on the right foot, and you're going to have lots of questions because COVID-19 was not nice to our children. Okay, and you have a lot of questions, and your kid has a lot of needs now because, of course, they didn't implement the little bit they could have. They didn't do that right. Okay, so this is Tammy Joya, and I will see you soon with another video. And if you like this one, please give me a thumbs up. Please put a comment down And please subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys like this. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, if you need any information, please contact me below. Let me know what you need, and I will be more than happy to provide you with that information. Okay? Thank you very much. Bye-bye.